All right, good afternoon. This is Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com. It's time to talk about the overtime game of the week, Deep Dish Football, Saturday afternoon overtime game of the week between Hinsdale Central versus Downers Grove North that I will be attending, and we're going to talk about both seasons so far and how they're doing, and talk a little bit about the rosters. Go into more of the rosters tomorrow, but just talk about the season so far for both teams. So let's go first into the Hinsdale Central schedule and what they were able to do so far. First game they lost to St. Xavier in Ohio. No surprise there. That was sort of a game that a lot of people favored St. Xavier versus in Ohio over Hinsdale Central. No surprise there. Um, don't know why they scheduled the game. I understand, but I'm making a slight criticism of them scheduling a game with St. Xavier. Yes, but uh, it, it ended up in a loss. Next game, Willowbrook High School. Great, great first in-state game against them. Basically, in conference game against Willowbrook, especially against that great running back and a sort of a uprise in that team. Looks great, and of course, Hinsdale Central won and beat Willowbrook, and Hinsdale Central beat OPRF, which is a pretty good challenger too. So they're 2-1 right now. You look at the season play. Um, no doubt about they're going to make the playoffs. I still think that key game is going to be Hinsdale Central versus Glenbard West. That's going to be one hell of a game. That's going to be a big game for the basically for the division. So we'll see what happens. But Hinsdale Central, very key. Great team as always. I've talked about Hinsdale Central numerous times. Offensive line factory. Garrett Oakley, wide receiver. Matt Borson, tight end. Luke Scona, uh, running back. Garrett Oakley also plays a little bit running back. Aaron Annette, too, back with the Hinsdale Central Red Devils. Joey Bonaventure, Bonaventure is another player to look out for. Uh, JT Cloak, Matt Rush, Sean Kelly, Nick uh, Billy Kana. Uh, there's a bunch of names. There's an offensive lineman I'm looking for. Let me look for this offensive lineman first. Quentin Wallace is one of the best kickers in the state. Uh, Joe Monahan's another person to look out for, who's plays center. Also look at Justin Misovic. Uh, Sean Stanton, offensive tackle. Another player to look out for. Wide receiver Will Sessa, who can be played into tight end. Literally, they're stacked with players that can play at any spot. They have a bunch of hybrid players at Hinsdale Central. Great coaching by Coach Hartman and that coaching staff. Unbelievable talent at the Hinsdale Central level. It's going to be interesting to see. I know a few coaches have left the staff. I want to see how that mixes in, especially with this game against DGN. But Hinsdale Central's got a great passing attack. Do a lot of the run shoot principles. Defense is very very great at defending the pass. So it's going to be an interesting game. So and Hinsdale Central looks good. They look good to challenge for a state title. That's all I'm going to say. But they look good to challenge for a state title. I really do believe in this team. This team is going to be something special this year. So let's go into Downers Grove North. Downers Grove North lost a great game against Lockport. Uh, beat Leiden, which is a pretty good team. Proviso West, which is a pretty emerging team too to looking at too. They but they look they look good too. DGN could go back to the playoffs. They haven't been to the playoffs. I think it's like 2 years or 1 year. I might be mistaken. I think it's 2 years. But again, DGN, great history. Coach Wander does a great job, especially with the option attack. Has those type of coaches that uh, contribute to his philosophy of on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Um, I see them. Let's see. Down Hinsdale Central's a tough game. Lions is a tough game. DGS York. Um, this is a key game. I see this really as a key game. They gotta do something against Hinsdale Central. Glenbard West is going to be tough against them. DGS is going to be. They can beat DGS. They can beat York High School. Um, they can beat OPRF, but that's going to be a tough game. So, but they have a great shot of making the playoffs, and you don't want to, as a team, you don't want to play against. A lot of coaches don't want to play against that offense, that option offense. No, nobody really wants to go against that option offense. It's sort of a bitch. It is hard to defend against, especially when you haven't defended against it for a whole year, and you go up against it. It scares defensive coordinators away. So that's why DGN is a seriously scary team if they get into the playoffs. Now let's get Carr, Passarelli is a guy to look out for. On that team. They have a few defensive ends to keep an eye out on for. I'll go into the full roster in 2 days. Tomorrow I'll talk about key players for the game. DGN also has. I'll talk a little bit about their sort of their athletes because DGN is starting to get an increase in their athletes, which is great to see. It's a definite thing. Their quarterback Carr is very resilient and is a guy to keep a close eye out for because of his ability to make decisions, especially in that option offense. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds against that Hinsdale Central defense. DGN's defense looks pretty good. They got a good defensive end and a rush guy, ER guy. Forgetting his last name, I'll have to check it out again. But it's going to be an interesting game. Um, this was just a basically intro of the season so far for DGN and Hinsdale Central. Hinsdale Central, like I said before, they can challenge for a state title. DGN has got a great chance of making the playoffs, and they'd be a scary team because of that option offense. Because no defense coordinator who's never faced the option offense wants to face that type of offense. They just don't. It's pure hell for them because you have to have disciplined kids. And it's going to be interesting to see Hinsdale Central be how disciplined they can be able to cover that defense. It'll be interesting on the DGN side is how can they cover that run shooter offense? How can they cover it? It's going to be interesting to see. So we'll see what happens. So again, go to deepdishfootball.com. Follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook. Go to Instagram, Coach Big Pete. We're going to talk the whole week about Hinsdale Central and versus DGN for the old whatever Oak Trophy or whatever it is. It's going to be an interesting game, but get all of your pregame analysis. I'm going to talk about all the players, coaches, everything else about the thing. And magic numbers are coming up too soon. Visit deepdishfootball.com for magic numbers. They're coming up later, especially today and all the other days too. If you like what I have to say, go to deepdishfootball.com. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. But go on deepdishfootball.com. Feel free on the right-hand section leave a tip or a donation for my work if you like my work. Thank you so much, and have a lovely, lovely day.